Live coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television. On May 1st, 2017, all across the world, it was we celebrated the Workers' Day all across the world. And in Nigeria, the rallies were held in various parts of the countries, and of course, workers went out en masse to meet with their leaders and to celebrate the National Workers' Day. Some were still some were still angry at the government for not. Most of these workers are owed salary in most of the states, more than there's some who have been owed more than a year's salary up till this moment, and workers showed their grievances in Abuja. There was a disruption at the Workers' Day celebration in Abuja by aggrieved workers who wanted the president to speak concerning the unpaid salaries and of course the minimum wage. The minimum wage currently, as I speak, is 18,000 naira, which should have been reviewed way back. I think 5 years. It was supposed to be reviewed 5 years after it was pronounced. It was supposed to be reviewed in 2016, and this is 2017. Nothing is still being said. There are already propositions to the federal government to increase it to 56,000, and nothing is being done up till now. Workers are angry all across the world, and as much as they were celebrating, they also wanted the government to see it in their line. And of course, for every work done, people are supposed to get paid.
Very well. So you mentioned how virtually every state, including the FCT, is holding it to workers' salary. And while some joke around the fact that there is no state holding as much as 12 months, the much is 10 months, whether it's a month or 2 months or 10 months or 12 months, the fact is these workers still keep going to work. Every day they report at work, and of course we have states that owing, well, as much as 10 and some as low as maybe 3 months. But the importance of having a country that's pays attention to the welfare of its people is in its constant and continuous payment of arrears to its workers. And of course, much of the plight of the Nigerian workers is the fact that there's a decrease in the purchasing power. You want to look at how much 18,000 naira is worth. Today. You probably get to the market and you realize you cannot buy anything with that amount. And that's why they're asking that the federal government will look into a review of the minimum wage, and of course a review into the living wage as well. And of course this is just in a bid to make life better for workers who contribute to the growth of the country. And yes, like you mentioned, there were rallies across the states, across the country, at stadiums and designated centers. It was a time for workers to, one of the leaders was saying that we're the ones celebrating ourselves. The government should be celebrating us because we're the ones who work to push the country forward to generate revenue as well. But today, on days like that, we sit down to reflect on our struggles, look at where we're coming from, and project for a better future. But the calling that the government, state, federal governments, will look into how they can work with them to make life better for them, and of course they can contribute their quota towards national development. But of course, really, I agree, there should be a review. It's constituted that every 5 years. The last time it was reviewed was March 6, 2011. Then it was 7,500, and it was an increment to 18,000. But it's over 5 years. We're in the 6th year already. We're asking that the federal government will really look into a review of this minimum wage. It's a minimum wage, for God's sake.
Yeah, it is. And on that note, on May 1st, we went to the stadium here in Ibadan to meet the workers and to hear some of their opinions concerning issues pertaining to them, the issues of unpaid salary, minimum wage issue. We'll take a video of that, after which we'll also bring you an interview where Jumoke sat with the TUC chairman to talk about issues concerning workers in Nigeria. Don't go away, AM Live continues.
Olojete, and is here with me as someone like into the celebration of this 2017 Workers' Day. You're welcome, sir. How would you describe the 2017 Workers' Day?
Well, 2017 Workers' Day looks somehow in the sense that our situation as workers, particularly in Nigeria and particularly in your state, that situations are not as it used to be, because today salaries are arrears, pensions have rolled into arrears, gratuities have rolled into arrears. Every other thing that borders on the welfare of workers have rolled into arrears. And the promotions are no longer coming. But in spite of all this, we still have to gather here today to celebrate ourselves. And of course, to also remember the martyrs in industrial relation practice of the past years of 1886, who actually laid down their lives for the betterment of the welfare of the workers of the world. So today's celebration in Genesis is to remember those who had laid down their life for the welfare of the workers of the world. You remember in 1986, there was persecution, there was execution, and about 8 strong industrial labor leaders lost their lives in the name of wanting the best of service for the workers of the world. So the essence of our gathering here today is to remember them. Secondly, today's occasion also provides opportunity. Today we have invited here the Chief Executive of Oyo State, His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi, to celebrate with us, and of course to have the opportunity to also let the government know through our addresses that we are still suffering. We are not faring well. What is outstanding in terms of salaries and pensions, gratuity, promotion, we also tell the government publicly here today that we are not comfortable, we are not convenient, and of course we still want the government to also do something very urgently about all these outstanding and backlog of areas of the entitlement of workers of the world. So notwithstanding our situation, we still have to gather here to celebrate ourselves, and that's why we started this celebration 4 days ago from the Central Mosque at Government House, Secretariat Ibadan, where we went to seek the face of the Lord for intervention, a divine one of course, into our lives and the Nigerian economy. Yesterday again, we were also in one of the churches here in Ibadan, also to seek the face of the Lord. So all hopes are not lost. We must encourage ourselves. We must return ourselves back to hope, and that's why we have no cause to go back as sorrowing, rather to enliven ourselves and to also know that tomorrow our future is better. Our appeal will always go to our employers of labor, both private and public, that the welfare of workers of Nigeria and Oyo State in particular should be the utmost priority of our employers of labor, noting the fact that within any given industrial environment, workers are very critical. It is true the employers, capitalists have their capital, but these capitals cannot mobilize themselves except where you have the workers. And so workers should not be seen as mere instruments of production, factors of production, but rather human beings who have blood flowing through their veins. And I think they have to be treated well, they must be respected. Going by the motto of Nigeria Labour Congress, we say labor creates wealth. That is to suggest that it is the workers of Nigeria that are creating the wealth which we are all sharing. And so where we create the wealth, we deserve the best of the wealth that must go back to us. We are not asking too much. We are only asking for our monthly emolument. And of course, our benefit, entitlement after retirement at work. So in the face of all odds, we still have a cause to celebrate because we know tomorrow will still be better. Nigeria economy will not be for life, be in doldrum. It will definitely going to improve. And of course, let me also say, as workers and employers of labor, it becomes our collective responsibility to return Nigeria economy back to course.
Now, if you take a look at negotiations that have been on by the national body of NLC to increase the minimum wage, well, recently the National Assembly has taken it into first reading, which is moving to second reading very soon, to bring the state government into determine the minimum wage. What is your stand about this?
Well, I think I have to say that any attempt either by the National Assembly or state houses of assembly to remove the issue of minimum wage from exclusive list of the government is suicidal, is callous, is wicked. Why? Because whatever you want to do in terms of the development of any nations rests squarely on the effort and ability of the workers. So an attempt to return that one to the whims and caprices of the state government, the local government, is like sending the Nigerian economy into another round of ruins. And that's why the issue of workers should be paramount in the minds of our leaders. Workers are very critical. Workers' efforts are very fundamental to the development of any economy. So I am sure the entire national leadership of Nigeria Labour Congress and TUC will resist with vigor any attempt by anybody to return the issue of minimum wage to the whims and caprices of state governors and local government chairmen.
All right. The Lagos government just remitted the sum of 7.8 billion to workers' retirement account, and we have several states that have not done the same thing. And just like you said, that wages and salaries and have been going into arrears. What is the way forward for people that are looking up to being a pensioner and they've not even received the salary before moving to that rent? What would you say?
Well, you have said it. If in Nigeria today we have some state governments who care very much for the welfare of their workers, who care very much for the welfare of their retired workers, every other state government should take a cue, and they should also learn from that. After all, we are all operating within the same economy, and that's why I want to appeal to other governments who owe salaries, who owe pensions, who owe gratuity, to take after the Lagos state government and do everything possible. It's all a matter of priority. If any government will complain he can't pay salary, it's a misplacement of priority. Because if you refuse to pay workers' salary, what level of efficiency and productivity do you expect from an hungry worker? And that's why for us to empower our economy, workers' welfare must be a priority to our government. So if some government could pay salary as when due, what happens to others? It's a matter of the fact that they are only misplacing their priority. Workers' salary, pensions, gratuities must be first charged from whatever the fund of the government. Whatever is remaining, let it go to other expenses. But workers must be very critical in demand of our employers of labor.
All right, finally, sir, let's take a look at the team for this year's 2017 Workers' Day. The team is labor relation in economic recession and appraisal. Yeah. What should we look forward to?
You see, we are very clever. The national leadership of TUC, NSA are very clever and very critical in selecting the team for this year. We have collectively admitted that the Nigeria economy is in recession. But the recession to me appears to be artificial and man-made, man-created. And that's why today, you agree with me, you begin to ask questions in the recent development. Today you are funding billions of naira in private apartments that belongs to no one. Nobody is ready to step out and say that money belongs to me and I owe that apartment. That suggests to you that we have money in Nigeria here. The recession is artificial. The recession is a man-made. Let our man, everybody in Nigeria, particularly political leaders, let us search our mind. Let us be sincere. The resources of this nation, if we agree collectively that belong to all of us, it should be shared among all of us and not to private individuals. Come to talk of it. How do you describe a situation today when you go to cemeteries and you get to cemetery, you find money? Are the dead spending money? How do you describe situations when you meet our people going to the farm to dig ground and bury money there? That is rather callous, and it's nothing but callousness. And that's why I feel that if the Nigerian labor leaders today are asking for 56,000 naira minimum wage, let nobody be in doubt as to whether it is affordable or not affordable. If we have been in doubt for the past years, in the recent development and these discoveries, you should all agree with me that Nigeria can even pay 100,000 naira minimum wage. After all, ask me, how many 56,000 naira can you get from 250 billion naira? $15 billion. Which Nigerian political leaders are carrying about, which they are carrying about. And that's why we must ask ourselves and have every God to ask Nigerian political leaders, and that they must ask them. Perhaps why they are feeling so comfortable is because nobody is asking questions. This is the time we have to ask them, and that's why today you elect your leaders. They leave your places, they leave your villages, they go to Abuja. They never come back to tell you why you have sent them there. So I want to believe, and I'm convinced within me, that the theme for this year is the labor relations in economic recession. Economic recession and our labor relations, we have to meet at a point, and we must meet at a point of reality. The point of reality I'm talking about is that the employer will say the money is not there. But for us as employees, we feel the money is there because for one moment we have never stopped working. And where work does not stop, productivity continues. And the productivity leads to revenue. So that revenue is in the pocket of the money. It's only being shared by few privileged individuals. So for us, that's why we feel in this type of critical situation, we must meet at a table. And we will have the opportunity to tell Nigerian political leaders nothing but the truth and the facts, and challenge them to their faces as to why somebody must ask questions as why our money that belongs to Nigerians and all Nigerians to go to the cemetery. And let Nigerian political leaders come and answer the questions why 56,000 naira will be difficult to pay as minimum wage, where an individual is carrying about billions of dollars. Sometimes you reported to us 40 million naira airport, nobody is claiming ownership. So this is the situation in Nigeria. Let nobody deceive us. Let nobody create the impression that it is difficult to pay that. It is never difficult. It's all border on political will, sincerity, and of course, the need to face the reality of our time. Thank you.
Of the state, it is the workers that are celebrating themselves. To give thanks to God that they are alive, they are surviving. Also, to give thanks to God that this project called Nigeria is surviving. But normally, we are the word for some employers, be it state, be it private, be it whatever. They are the ones to have looked back and celebrate their workers, because without us, they cannot be. Without us, they cannot survive. Nobody will have seen them as employers. But because we are working, we are the geese that are laying the golden egg that they are eating. It deems and it behoves on them to celebrate their workers. But what do we have? It is the workers coming together to celebrate themselves. So even for that alone, it is worth celebration. But if we look at any other indices or indicators in this country called Nigeria, it is not worth the celebration. It is not worth celebration. What is Anara saying? How many factories are closing down? Look at the public service itself. What is it looking like? Is it looking like the way it's supposed to look like? No, it is not worth celebrating. But because we are still there, Nigeria is still existing, we are alive, we are celebrating, and we shall continue to celebrate.
And your message to workers who feel bad and very disgruntled?
Yes, in fact, any working class person in Nigeria is supposed to feel disgruntled. They have the right to be angry. But what we are saying is, little more patience. Little more patience. Previously, Nigeria was in recession. No end to recession. But thank God, from the indicators to them now, they have said in less than 6 months, Nigeria will be out of recession. So we have been condoning it. We are persevere, and we are going to be the one that will eat the fruit of our labor.
Nigeria workers, evacuation workers.
Everywhere, so we need to strive hard to struggle and see that we survive the period. So the economic situation that is not that okay. We still need to survive. To let our people know that tough time doesn't last.
If we look at the education in Nigeria, and let's take a look at the state in particular, one of the one year of teaching is due to ensure
The problem we have is that if we don't take care of those that will make sure that education is well taken care of, those that are in charge of education, we will have little output. If our input into education by the government is not all that buoyant, by area of providing the necessary infrastructure, by making the learning environment conducive for students and the teachers, and by looking into the welfare of teachers in general, then those are the inputs by the government. So the output will be good. Then we are trying as much as possible at the NDT level to see that all these problems are solved and we have the standard of education somehow improved.
Can you mention what steps that you said you are taking to ensure?
One of the steps is that we do go around and tell our people that the area of learning is something that if you don't, say because you don't collect salary today now, you don't give the pupils what they need. You cannot give them tomorrow. So we try as much as possible to educate our people that we are dealing with human beings. So salary or no salary, let's do our own. So when we do our own, then we'll be happy tomorrow. Even when we get the salary later, we'll be happy that we've worked for this salary. So we are doing that to let our people know that lateness in salary or non-payment of salary should not abound, because naturally it will affect. When we go around, tell our people, educate our people, to let them know that we need to do this thing. Because these children now of today, if we refuse to teach them well, if we refuse to put them on the right path, they will be our problems. So that is our belief. And so we are doing all we can. Despite the lateness in salary, non-payment of salary, we are striving hard to meet it.
What are your expectations from the government?
The expectation from the government, very enormous. And the number one is the welfare of teachers. We need our salaries as at Wendy. Just recently, the government. I even feel happy when I heard yesterday that the government accepts that it's owing us about 4 months' salary. That is, just let us leave that one there. So this one is there, promotion is there, long outstanding since 2011. The leave allowance is there, not been paid. So all these things we want from government. And to plan it all, we want the government to make the learning environment very conducive. The buildings, the necessities to be provided to schools so that learning will be, students will feel happy in going to schools, while teachers also will feel happy in going to school.
Presently an endangered species. However, last week, His Excellency has approved a certain amount of money from the Paris Club reform that will be sufficient to pay 2 months' salaries to this set of workers. And as we all know, if we pay 2 months out of 5 or 2 months out of 11, how many months remaining? 9 good months. And the union, together with some stakeholders, have suggested to the government that we should adopt the method being used in other states, particularly in the southwest, that is pulling together all the responsibilities such as primary school teachers' salaries, pensions, and salaries of local government workers, adding them together and making all of them together a first line charge from the JAC, which is the State's Local Government Joint Accounts and Allocation Committee, making it a first line charge before distributing the rest to the local governments and the local council development authorities. That is yet to take effect. It is under consideration. It is a work in progress, and we would like to seize this opportunity to implore the government to quickly take a decision on that and start action immediately.
Have you relaxed on the autonomy for the program? Once you have missed it, have you relaxed or let it go?
Thank you. That's why I said Nuge will be state and national. Just a few days ago, we were in Abuja to do a national rally, which took us to the National Assembly to present our position on local government autonomy. Nuge shall not relent, because we believe we are fighting for the masses of Nigerians, the people at the grassroots, the people who are neglected, who nobody cares about. Once they get into presidency, government houses, the people they forget in the rural areas. And that is why you see the rural-urban drift. If the local government is empowered to function how it should, that level, that tier of government, that tier of people living at the grassroots, living in the local government, will be provided job opportunities such that the youth will no longer be rushing to the cities where they become idle. There's no work anywhere in the cities. But if we develop our agriculture,
So the pensioner is known to all of us, and part of the plight is non-payment of pension as at when due. As I speak with you, Oyo State government is owing state pensioners 4 months, while it is owing the retired primary school teachers 56 months. As I speak with you, retired primary school teachers have not been paid gratuity since 2008. Of course, we will say, but it wasn't there. Governance is what? It's a continuum.
And each time we ask of the entitlement of our primary school teachers, the sing song of government is that they have stolen their money. If they have not stolen pensioners' money, what happened is that some people stole government money. And in fact, this money that was said to be stolen was stolen in 2010 before Juma became on board. So it couldn't have been running his time. So he should do his own bit to retire primary school teachers, to state pensioners and workers throughout the state. So saying that somebody stole the money is just an excuse that cannot be excused. So we want them. We have always been asking, we have always been demanding for government. We will do it again because the demand has become a kind of, like the government is deaf to our demand. But we still continue to ask. And so we are taking this opportunity to ask the government to please, for God's sake, give our pensioners their entitlement, particularly retired primary school teachers who are being owed 56 months. It is like sentencing somebody to death. Yes. We also appeal that they should be paid their gratuity that has not been paid since 2008. You can imagine somebody who worked for 35 years and was getting his money regularly not to be paid pension for 60 months. It is bad, it is wicked, it is wrong. So that is our appeal.
From Nigeria, West Africa, to the rest of the world, we say thank you for joining us on exclusive, it's AM Live, but exclusive this morning. It's May Day. It's May 1st across the world, and of course, workers across the world, not just in Nigeria, are joining the counterpart in the rest of the world celebrating Workers' Day. It's May Day again, and it's good to have you join us on AM Live. It's exclusive this morning. Just as it is across the world, workers are saying we're going to recount on our struggles, we're going to reflect on our struggles, and of course make our demands known to the respective governments in the countries across the world. But in Nigeria today, workers are coming together at different stadiums to reflect on their struggles, make their demands known to the government again, and ask them to make life worth living as it were for them. But a lot has to be said around May Day, which is also known as the International Labour Day, International Workers' Day, May Day, May 1st. But joining the conversation this morning is Comrade Emmanuel Ogundiro, who is the Chairman Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, or your State Council. It's good to have you join us on the program.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. You look all set for,
the
the celebration. Celebration into reflection, it's a move for a better welfare package.
Oh yes, I want to put it that employers are supposed to be celebrating their employees or workers. But it is the reverse we have in Nigeria. As of today, it is we, the workers, that are celebrating ourselves. Because we believe, although looking at our environment, it may not worth much celebration, but because we are alive, despite all the hardship, God still grants us that life. So we have to look at where we were last year, where we are this year, what we are expecting next year. Even if the employers are not ready to do that, we will be ready to continue to demand and ready to continue to put in our best. Because we are all equal stakeholders. That is the way we are seeing it. But you see, this master-servant relationship, we are telling the employers that it must stop. If there is no us, there can be no them. If they don't have the wherewithal, then we may not be there. But because they have the wherewithal, they have established something, we are there working, we are the one that make them exist.
You did mention that it looks like the one celebrating yourself.
Oh yes.
On the dailies this morning, governors across states in Nigeria, Ajimobi Oboyo State, Obaseki Edo State, and those state counterparts, and the rest of them have said congratulations to workers, that celebrating with you as a way and asking you to work harder. What do you make of this?
Yeah, they are celebrating with us, not celebrating us. I am saying they are supposed to celebrate us. Okay. We have been working for them in the last 1 year. What are they giving us? What are they shown to us? Is it commensurate with what we are putting? 2. Now, a whole year is gone. We have this 1 day, just 1 day, to be celebrated. How are they doing it? In fact, don't be surprised. We are even the one inviting them.
Just before we go on, I should let you know, May Day is a celebration of laborers and the working classes that is promoted by the International Labour Movement, socialists, communists, and anarchists, and it occurs every year. The date was chosen for International Workers' Day by the Second International and a pan-national organization of socialist and communist political parties to commemorate the A Market Affair, which occurred in Chicago, May 4, 1886. The 1904 International Socialist Conference in Amsterdam, the 6th conference of the Second International, called on all social democratic party organizations and trade unions of all countries to demonstrate energetically on May 1st for the legal establishment of the 8-hour day, for the class demand of the proletariat, and for universal peace. Let's look at Nigeria today. Your demands are numerous. And of course, you've had several protests across many years. And of course, this year, remember, there was a protest earlier this year, in February to be precise, when you made your demands known to the presidency. It was vice president, now acting as the president then, and he did say, I understood all of your, according to him, he did understood all of your grievances, and he said he had, in his words, a fruitful discussion with the NLC, the TUC, the CSOs, and the likes of them. When you look back at it a couple of months after the protest and the discussion your unions had with him, what's changed since then?
Yeah, you said one thing. Our demands are numerous, but basic. They're basic things. We are not demanding for the utopia. We are demanding for that which will make our living meaningful. head submitted his report. The report had been received by the presidency. A technical committee was set up. It is for that technical committee to start meeting and come up with what it will be the minimum wage, the new minimum wage. That is what we are pressing for now. The composition of the technical committee is not in doubt. It has been released, it's well known, but for the committee to be meeting. And you know, a typical African government, most especially Nigerian government, we believe and we love dilly-dallying until those people that are concerned now forcefully have their way. But we are saying this should not be the relationship. In our workplace, it wasn't like that. Why is it that for you to now do the needful, we now have to push, we have to continue to request, we have to continue to ask?
Looks like the language the government understands or seems to understand is protest. And
that is the
for
problem.
you, has it yielded positive result?
Yeah, that is the problem, and that is why labor and the civil liberty organizations are now going back to the drawing board. We don't want to make this tactic the first option. We want it to always remain the last option. But you see, the Nigerian government, they will not respond until the last option. They have forgotten that no matter how elastic your patience is, it has a limit. So they always want to stretch us to our limit. But by the time we get to our limit, you see, when others fail to take preeminence from above, chaos will do so from below. And we don't always, that's why I said we are equal stakeholders. It's not something we like, it's not something we love, it's not something we always wanted. But because we will have taken all steps, personal touch, legal steps, writing, negotiation, even we use sources, source of reinforcement, whether positive or negative. It is when those ones are not yielding now that will result
protest.
to.
Well, some of the challenges facing the labor union altogether in Nigeria includes massive depreciating purchasing power, of course, job losses, and unpaid salary arrears. Well, in the news this morning, Bayelsa teachers are already threatening to embark on strike.
10 months. 10 months is something.
Salary
10 months is something. We were almost.
They're also owing the.
Yeah, we were. In Oyo State, we were almost there. It was 8 months, getting to 9 months. But we thank God. That is where you see when the leader does good, we say yes, kudos. And when it's not, Governor Jimobi has the option of diverting those funds to other areas, but he paid in 3 consecutive instances 2 months' salary. So that reduced the arrears from 9 months to about 4 months now, because December salary 2016. You can imagine how tolerant we have been. December salary is now being paid, so we are left with January, February, March, and April. So 4 months. From 9 months, 4 months.
So on your part, the Oyo State government has done fairly.
Yeah, we have good rapport. We do have good relationships.
Which is
although
essential.
it was a little bit